Good evening. The world is a little tired today, and so are you. But now everything is in its place. Silence is where it should be. Breathing is steady, and time is no longer rushing. This is the moment when stories find people themselves. Not loud, not flashy, old as the world, wise as the night. Today is one of those moments. Listen, imagine the night, quiet, cool, with a distant wind swaying the treetops. We are sitting by the fire, and I will tell you a story. It is whispered by the leaves of Yggdrasil, the ancient tree that connects all worlds. This story is not about war, nor is it about glory. It is about a search, about a god's lonely journey into the deepest night of his own spirit, about Odin and how the runes were born from silence. This story is slow because it is about something profound. And profound things, as we know, do not rush. Odin always gravitated toward knowledge, secret, hidden, profound. The world had already been created. Asgard glowed with gold, Midgard breathed wheat, and the gods lived their lives. They fought, loved, built palaces, quarreled, and made peace. Odin watched, and he felt that this was not enough for him. He saw how everything moved, how it appeared and disappeared, and he knew there was something that held this fabric of reality together. But what exactly was hidden? He was not satisfied with guesses. He needed the essence. Are you familiar with that feeling when something indescribable hangs in the air? When the world seems to be waiting, holding its breath. Perhaps it is the silence before the rain. Or perhaps it is before something much greater. That was the silence that hung that evening when one came to Yggdrasil. He walked for a long time, not with his feet, but on an inner path. To reach the source from which truth flows, one must shed all names. Truth does not lie on the surface, so Odin went deep, and his path, not on the ground but inward, led him to the place where names end. Under the roots of Yggdrasil, at the very bottom of the world tree, in a silence that no sound could penetrate, was the source of Mimir. The water in it was neither cold nor warm. It was old. It did not flow. It remembered the conception of the world, the first word from which all living and non-living things began. Mimir was not a god or a spirit, but something more, the guardian of truth, the keeper of primordial knowledge. He sat by the spring, silent, his eyes timeless. It was impossible to bypass him, but even addressing him did not guarantee a response. To get even a sip from this spring, one had to pay, and not with gold or glory, but with something real, that is, with oneself. One gave his eye, without pain or regret. He simply placed it in Mimir's palm, and drank from the spring for the first time. The water did not tell him the truth. It washed away the excess. From then on, he began to see deeper. But truth is a path, and he went further, to where the runes began. Odin did not go forward, he went down, to where there was nothing superfluous left. Yggdrasil stood motionless as before, but now Odin saw it differently, not as a tree, but as the living fabric of the world. Its branches stretched upward, like the future, its roots downward, like the past, and its trunk was time, a moment. When he came to Yggdrasil, Odin did not pray, did not beg, did not call for thunder. He pierced himself with a spear and hung himself between worlds, between who he was and who he could become. And the first night began, followed by 8 more, each one leading deeper than the last. The first night was the sound of blood slowly flowing. The second was fire in the chest. The third was a fog of thoughts. The fourth night was silence, not peaceful, but complete. There was something hidden in it. The fifth was dissolution. The sixth was lightness, like after crying. The seventh was the disappearance of boundaries. The eighth was a flash, and the ninth night was runes. After the ninth night, Odin fell. The soft earth, warmed by the day, accepted him with indifferent respect. This is how they accept those who have paid everything and ask for nothing in return. He lay on his back, arms outstretched. There were no thoughts in his head. There was emptiness in his chest. But it was not dead emptiness. On the contrary, it was emptiness that was about to be filled. And then something shifted, not a sound, not a light, not an image. The feeling that he had remembered something. It was not enlightenment, but he felt that from now on he knew something new, understood the essence of things more deeply. The runes came to Odin in the form of energies that make up the universe. They rose from within, like smoke from heat, like the first word after a long silence. Runes are not just symbols, but keys to the deep structures of being, opening the way to knowledge of the world and oneself in it. Odin slowly sat down. His body was heavy, as if after a fever. His hands did not obey him, but there was already something new in them. He ran his fingers over the damp earth, and his fingers drew a sign on their own. The first rune, precise, pure. With it, there was no need to explain anything. Everything became clear. The world breathed differently. He drew more. One, then another, a third. Each of them was not just a shape. It changed the space. He sat looking at the ground, covered with previously unknown symbols, and suddenly smiled. The silence was complete, like a page that had just been written, like a body that no longer hurts. It was the end of the road, and at the same time the beginning of language, not human, not divine, but the one with which the world speaks to itself. When Odin returned, the world did not greet him with triumph. Asgard remained as it was. The sun followed its orbit. The palaces stood as before, in the splendor of their grandeur and beauty. The gods laughed, joked, tried on new armor and old glory. Only the tree he had once climbed bent its branch a little lower, perhaps from the wind, or perhaps from memory. Odin returned to Asgard, but not to the palaces. He went to those who had forgotten why they lived, to the sick who could no longer feel life because of their pain, to warriors who were tired of fighting, to women who carried silence instead of life within them, to old men who lived only in memories, and to everyone who truly needed it, he sent a rune that eased pain, filled them with strength and wisdom, or showed them how to walk the path that fate had chosen for them. He did not gather disciples. Only those who already felt something came to him one by one. Artists, silent, strange, those who thirsted for wisdom. Not always strong, but always profound. He gave them wooden boards, bones, clay, stones. He did not teach them how to carve. He waited. And when the rune appeared on its own, he smiled as if it had always been there. The runes that Odin gave to people were applied to the things that surrounded them every day, to women's jewelry and clothing to enhance their beauty, wisdom, and femininity, on warriors' swords and horse harnesses, so that they would be victorious in battle, on their homes so that there would be prosperity, and on animal barns so that they would multiply and feed their owners, and also on amulets for children and the elderly, so that they would be safe. And Odin, he lived like a tree. He was silent like water. He was close by like air. Sometimes he was seen in the fog, sitting on a rock. A spear, stuck in the ground, long gray hair blowing in the wind, one eye, but he looks as if he sees everything that was, is, and will be. Because those who have passed 9 nights no longer ask questions, he simply is, and through him speak those who have not yet found their runes. Thank you for being with me today. If this story touched you, like it and subscribe to find out about new episodes. And be sure to write which city or country you are listening from. I am always interested to know who is on the other side of the screen. Because every story comes to life when someone is waiting for it. And I will be back very soon with a new fairy tale, myth, or meditation for your sound and peaceful sleep. Sweet dreams, and see you in the new videos.